This has to be some of the most insane drama I have seen in a very long time. And it comes from someone who is featured quite frequently on this channel, Sky Williams. He's a content creator who used to be very big in the Smash Brothers and League of Legends communities back when he made content consistently about 5 to 6 years ago. But videos weren't the only thing he was working on back then, as at that time he was trying to manage a house. A house with 3 bedrooms, maybe designed for like 5 to 6 people at most, but he ended up housing about 25 people, one of which being a minor and another of which being a pedophile. And good things did not come out of the situation, as you might imagine. The victim of this horrible situation, Jisu, makes a post about it on Twitter titled "The Truth About Zero, Katie, and Sky." And then she links to a very long document. This document is about 58 pages long. I can't read all of it for this video, but I will leave it in the description below. The part of this document we're going to focus on specifically for this video is when she talks about Sky Williams. It starts on page 42 and is titled, "My Experience with Sky." So to be completely honest, I don't know what Sky thinks of me. I don't know what Sky is ever thinking about besides himself. He is so manipulative, unfeeling, and flippant that I have written him off as a psychopath. I'm not going to dig up our years of history because at this point, it's not just about me. It's about the bigger picture, and I want to do my best to illustrate that. So, manipulation. Have you ever talked to someone where every single thing they say doesn't seem to make sense, and yet they are so adamant you might start to believe them? To be honest, I don't know why I didn't come forward about this sooner. Maybe it's his large following, maybe it's just because he physically towers over me, or threatened to beat me several times at the house. I don't know. Even as jokes, I slowly grew to learn over the years that he's so full of shit and insane that I can't trust him. A transition that was relatively slow and confusing because everyone else seemed to trust him, so I should too. He would say things like, "I love and care about you, Jackie," but then not pay me for work he commissioned me, a pattern with many other housemates as well. He would call us his family, but then emotionally extort and blackmail people into submission, something other roommates will comment on. While I've always maintained a steady distance and have been very wary of Sky, which he knows, I've never had enough proof of damning experiences besides him being severely neglectant and flighty. That being said, there were a lot of times I could clearly tell he was trying to take advantage of me and my situation. Besides the multiple times he'd harass me for commissions at the house, which I would almost always deny, and the one time I did it, he didn't pay. After I came out with my initial story of severe abuse under his household and my abusers, then she links to an article from 2018. That will be in the description below as well if you want to check it out. She continues on this document saying, "On top of already allowing a 15-year-old runaway girl to live in the house filled with alcohol, drugs, and several older men, he attempted to chide me into moving back in with him in a similar living situation right after I got out of hell, but in exchange for work." Jisu then shows screenshots of messages between her and Sky. It starts out with Sky offering her a job, giving her the details on it, to which Jisu responds, "Well, what specifically are you asking from me?" Sky responds, "Perfect." So they are beginning their esports journey. Wouldn't it be dope if they had a dedicated artist for any and all their needs while they move forward? And the narrative! You got bodied by some white fucking moron. You move here and Thunder gives you your own individual job as their lead artist in such a small amount of time. Like, the book writes itself, Jackie. The book is already done. Lol. Jisu responds, "Alright, so like, I don't know how fast you are trying to move, but I literally still am not even completely out of the situation. Also, I don't want a job." Sky responds, "So that's the brilliant part, the best part." Jisu responds, "I'm down to help in some minor ways, but I can't be the main artist at all." Sky responds, "Is you are not like hourly at all, and you won't have to do a shitload of work. I do have something planned, if you are ready to hear it." She responds, "Sure." Sky then says, "Okay, well this is it. Then I'm gonna play some games, but I'll keep it mad short, if you can just stay here real quick. In any case, what I want to do is to have you move here. I will make whatever room I need to make sure you are comfortable. Come here and just relax. No work, no stress, I will pay for your flight, food, everything. Then I'll ask you to draw one piece of art about Thunder Studios. Christian is a wonderful man, and he's just so understanding. Once he recognizes the situation, he will probably need you to do a few more things at your own pace. Nobody here will ever force you to do anything. You call the shots. You make sure you are comfortable." And then, he gets his multi-million-dollar lawyers to fucking body that peach-playing ugly-ass bitch. lol. And then you do a few more art things while you emotionally recover, which honestly could take years. I never fully recovered from my rape, but you are stronger than I. 5th class also needs some minor artwork done, but I just feel awful that you lived in that house and couldn't save you. I don't even really ever feel guilty, and I feel guilt here. This offer sounds too good to be true because it is, but it's being extended because I don't want you to be alone, and I want you to see what it's like to be valued, appreciated, and properly cared for by somebody not just trying to take everything you are. And I think in having that happen, you'll be out of here in no time. Jisu responds, okay, I have one question then. Why me? Laughing my ass off. Sky responds, well, that's easy. Because I've had a man strip me of everything since that night when I was 15. Not a single day have I felt safe. I look at myself in the mirror and I am repulsed, thinking that the only way I can find a meaningful relationship is if I'm forced into it. I gained all my weight back, in an attempt to make me repulsive enough that not even a rapist would want me. That destroyed my life. Greg, my old name, that person died that day. I changed my name to Sky because that's all that was left. But I didn't have help. I had to face the bullies at school and my dysfunctional family alone. I believe in you so much, and I always have. I'm going to be one of the most flawed individuals you'll ever meet. And genuinely, I am not a good person. But I will not let you. I won't let him make you feel any type of way. And I won't let him win. I won't let him ruin your life. Because I think you are spectacular. It's selfish. I'll never get my chance to reclaim my life. So please let me help you reclaim yours. After those messages are shown, Jisu continues her Google document by saying, any and all projects involving Sky have always been false grandiose promises with no actual pay. I knew this and was wary. I also found it so strange that he's trying to do this right after I got out of my situation and was recovering. It's downright predatory and opportunistic, and I hope it's easy to see that. Unfortunately, I think people fall for him because he turns around and does the good guy shtick almost immediately after. She then shows more messages between her and Sky. It starts out with him saying, ha 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 ha. So, but on a serious note, how are you actually feeling recently? She responds, I feel actually not depressed. It's amazing, lol. Sky responds, that's like fucking incredible. What a statement, lol. Like, he's not bothering you anymore? She responds, yeah, I know. Sky replies, mentally or otherwise? To which she responds, for the first time in my life. Sky then responds, oh my god, tears forming in my eyes. She replies, I feel like I have my life in control. Sky responds, so like, people make bad choices, even though yours was a bad choice. You got out of it, and now you are still young. You are still good as fuck. You like passed the one hard boss battle for each person quest. She responds, laughing my ass off. I mean, I'm sure there's more to come. Sky responds, well yeah, but this one? Jisu replies, but yeah, I definitely feel like I leveled up a lot. Sky replies, being emotionally and sexually manipulated, keeping you away from your dreams. You won. Now you're a god. So the next trouble that comes your way, it might hurt or sting, but it won't be nearly as bad. And you'll just shit on it and move on, because you've proven to yourself and the world that you are a survivor. Something that not many people can say. Even now, abusive relationships grip throats of many people, and most genuinely never escape, but you did. And you are an inspiration to all those around you. Jisu continues with the document by saying, one reason why I have remained friendly with him is because he still has connections to my former abuser. I don't think he is intentionally using this to steer me, but I am also unsure if this is a lie. But who knows? She continues showing more messages between her and Sky. This one starts off with Sky saying, okay, so blank pretty much blocked / deleted / unfollowed everyone from Smash, but he hasn't deleted me off some things. Do you need me to confront him for any past things you might need, or can I just smite him? She responds, no, just get rid of him. Sky responds, okay, to which Jisu responds, honestly, scary he still exists. Sky replies, honestly, I've been sitting on this question for a very, very long time. I had a heart-to-heart with blank a few years back, saying like, I see him on Steam just playing games, selecting games when he's been horrible, and I don't know. As a fellow victim, I felt a special kind of anger. Jisu responds, it still plagues me how I couldn't get any real justice. Sky responds, but the way you took this into your own hands. I didn't want to devalue your strength by doing something underhanded. Going back to the Google document, she says, now here's the part that really sent me over the wall. I made a personal Facebook post after people started initially making all their statements on Twitter, and I just had to get it out. I always felt betrayed in some way, and especially after seeing people I knew near and dear turn out to do the same things, I had to make it clear that I'm hurting. She then shows the screenshot of her Facebook post and it reads out, "Typed this out, then deleted it like a million times. Clearly there's a lot going on in the Smash community right now." To give a little context on what she's talking about, I think this tweet from Kotaku says it all. There's been over 50 sexual assault allegations in the Smash Brothers community. So all of this that I'm reading out right now is just a small aspect of one situation in a community of over 50 ongoing sexual misconduct situations. It's completely insane. Either way, getting back to Jisu's Facebook post, she continues by saying, "I always tried to push the issue away. I think we all do. Even as a victim, all I desperately wanted was to feel normal and feel in control of my life. For at least a second. Unfortunately, that's not how any of this works. Smash community was a different time. I acknowledge that. But even now, it's extremely hard for me to come to terms with the fact." It cuts off there, and then in the document she says, "Not going to include the full post. Just wanted to show the validity of the timestamp what Sky is referring to. Immediately after, he messages me saying that he looked out for me and cared so much about me." The messages start out with Sky saying, "I know this is a weird and sensitive time for everyone, and I am in no way, shape, or form trying to make this about me, which is why I'm messaging you directly. But your Facebook status just floored me," showing the latter part of the Facebook post we just read off, where she says, "Unfortunately, that's not how any of this works. Smash community was a different time, I acknowledge that. But even now, it's extremely hard for me to come to terms with the fact that as a minor, none of the adults ever looked out for me. In fact, they were in line waiting for me to be available as soon as I turned 18 or became single." Sky continues by saying, "None of the adults looked out for me. Really hurt. Because you know that isn't the case." Jisu responds, "Sky." To which Sky responds with a question mark, then Jisu says, "You know what that means. How are you supposed to expect me to be able to free myself? All the attempts were half-hearted. And most people really were just trying to get on my good side for thirst. Not all of them." Sky responds, "Sorry, I got heated really fast and didn't calm down." But Jisu responds, "But the reality is that no one really tried." Sky says, "That," Jisu responds, "And I mean really." Sky replies, "Myself included in your eyes?" Jisu responds, "Pulling me aside to get me to say something effectively puts it on me." Sky replies, "What about confronting him about your dream?" Jisu responds, "Which is really all I remember." Sky then says, "Okay." To which Jisu responds, "I remember you doing that, but that's trying to reason with him." Sky then says, "If that's all you remember, then there's nothing else to say." Jisu responds, "All I know is that." To which Sky responds, "But damn, that completely broke my heart." Jisu then says, "I'm watching a ton of people speak out about it right now. Same people who have slid into my DMs, or just watched my situation right under their nose. And I felt hurt. I'm sorry if you really did try. Because I'm being honest when I say I don't remember much." Jisu continues talking in the Google document by saying, "After talking more, he started to make such crazy claims, like even attempting to call CPS, or things like putting his career on the line, which I do not recall, period. Also important to note, that this is clearly a farce. Let's be real. If he called CPS, he would have been fucked." Jisu then shows more text messages, starting with her saying, "I don't think that people didn't try. I'm sure many people have tried and cared, and that's why I was so conflicted posting that." Sky responds, "I put my career and life on the line trying to get you out, Jackie." Jackie responds, "But let's be real." Sky responds, "Remember? How can you not remember?" She replies, "No one actually helped me." Sky responds, "Sorry. Insensitive. That isn't true. That isn't true." Which is fine. I'm not a liar. I'm not a bad person. I don't care who says what. I know who I am, and I know where my heart is. And the fact that Blank and I literally did everything we could to help you, even so far as calling Child Protective Services, but this is what you wanted. You walked right up to me and scolded me saying I don't understand an hour after we made plans. Jisu responds, "You guys called CPS?" To which Sky replies with the message that is now deleted, and then continues by saying, "But we decided that even though we see what's happening, and even though we are disgusted, forcing a solution on you feels no better than what he did to you. So we figured we'd just pick up the pieces, and if they broke, we didn't stop trying. But you were articulate, strong-willed. You weren't some child to be pushed around, but to me you were strong. Back straight, rock steady. Jisu replies, I really hate reading his name. I assume that his name was mentioned in the removed messages from Sky, which is why Sky removed them. She continues talking about this on the Google Doc by saying, this was later to be debunked when I approached the roommate he mentioned, and they said they don't remember ever doing that. Instead, what they do remember is the only real time I recall anyone actually pulling me aside to try and get the truth from me. They've asked me to abstain from posting any screenshots with them, but please trust me on this. Even more confusing is that before, whenever I brought up how he never paid me, he just ignored/ghosted me. This resulted in me giving up, but when I brought it up again, look how his story has changed. She then shows messages between him and her, starting out with her saying, you never paid me for Captain Falcon, just saying, laughing my ass off. Sky responds, I paid him. She responds, no way. Sky replies, bad choice. And then in the screenshot she highlights that Sky never showed proof that he paid him. She continues talking on the document by saying, as someone who's wanted to forget this period of time and move on, I felt so confused and questioned everything I knew that when he started inserting false memories into my head, I broke down hysterical in tears. I was being gaslit all over again, and experiencing it during this time broke me. Something else that was especially strange to me is that Sky has had years to tell me this. Why didn't he tell me this when my truth finally came out? Why didn't he just come forward if he cared so much? Why does he keep claiming to care so much about me, but then confuse me like this? She then shows even more messages between her and him, starting out with her saying, the extent of which he left an impression on me is still unraveling. I want to believe you. I'm sure it's true. Cause I remember blank pulling me aside to talk, asking if anything was going on, insisting, but I was so dead set on listening to him. But why didn't you tell me any of this sooner? Sky responds, you wouldn't have it. I message you. You think I'm trying to trick you. I tell you something happened. I'm a liar. You wouldn't hear it, because it was coming from me, like reverse validation. You thought I was so manipulative and bad, that if I said something was bad for you, you'd think that it in turn would be good, but I tried anyway, and lost every time. Jisu responds, is that you messaging me before all these times? Cause all I remember is you trying to get me on some big project, in my time of vulnerability, like soon after I came out, and it just felt so scummy. That did not help my impression of you at all. Sky responds, because you were literally raped and tortured under my roof, and I had no evidence/proof/support from the girl actually getting abused. So I figured that the best I could do is make sure that the trauma doesn't eradicate your work ethic. You will never change your opinion of me, and I've come to terms with that years ago. But there will come a time. She responds, what is definitive is that it was happening right under everyone's nose, and I was so stuck. Sky responds, we knew, Jackie. Not a soul was in the dark. She responds, I know. That hurts to read. Sky responds, oh yeah? Well, how about no adult helped me? Laughing my fucking ass off. That sucks to read too. But their skill set wasn't adapted. She responds, I'm sorry. Well, I'm genuinely sorry if you guys all tried. Sky responds, I wouldn't say everyone tried. No way. Honest to God, it was me and blank of S tier care, blank D1 tier under that, then whomever else. She responds, I'm sorry, this is just too much for me right now. I think I'm just really late on processing emotions, because this is a conversation we should have had a long time ago. Sky responds, you wouldn't let me. Scroll up and see for yourself. I wasn't anyone you trusted or liked. Not much I could have done after that. She doesn't respond for a while, and then Sky William types, well, are you alive? Well, I'm about to sleep. I'm making a statement the house as it pertains to abuse. Oh wait, you made a twit longer. Did you ever talk about your home life to us? Some of this I had no idea. He then shows a DM conversation he had with someone to her, and he says, people are really resonating with your story. Thought that might help. Well, I'm awake now. I woke up to a high level of confusion. Jisu continues talking about the situation on the Google Doc by saying, when I stopped responding on Facebook, he turned to Twitter. I have no idea what he's been trying to do, but I just gave him one last chance to do the right thing. Again, I always planned on coming forward with my account, but as far as anyone else and their stories, that's not my place. She then shows the Twitter DMs she had with Sky, which starts out with him saying, Jisu, I have all the proof that you didn't do anything. All of it. I'm coming forward with it. Please hang in there. If you want to see it, tell me. I have it all ready. Please don't shut me out. You are innocent. None of that was your fault. He then shows a screenshot that Jisu censored out and says, "Found it." Jisu responds, "What are you doing?" To which Sky replies, "I'm proving this isn't your fault at all. Isn't this what you... None of this was your fault. And this proves it. This proves that from the get-go. He tried to elude a capture. And me signing this was literally me doubling down my faith in you. Have you never seen this before? After this is all said and done, more than likely, we all will lose contact. At least I will. But you need to know that none of this is your fault, and I have the tools to prove it. And that is what I'm going to do. I would love to you for talk tome a bit, so I can get a really compelling case and to make sure I don't miss anything. But I understand if you don't want to." She responds, "What are you trying to do? Just be honest with me, Sky. Are you talking about Zero?" Sky responds, "No, I am talking about you-know-who. And what do you think I'm trying to do? I just found out that D1 is a pedo, and other Iggas fucked other bitches, and I don't want any part of that, so I'm coming clean with everything." She responds, "You know who is done for. I'm getting grilled for Zero. If you actually care, back me up on that." Sky responds, "Okay," to which she responds, "Otherwise, whatever." Sky replies, I do actually care," to which she responds, "I don't care if you just say it, Sky. You know what the right thing is. I'll let you decide what to do. You know that I'm right about Vanessa." Sky responds, "But the Zero thing," to which she replies, "You know that Zero is a weird piece of shit. You know I wouldn't lie about any of this." Sky responds, "I am aware, but I just need to ask you. The world needs to know that you are not to blame for anything that happened to you, even concerning you-know-who." She responds, "Well, you know the right steps to do that." Sky responds, "Right, I do," to which she replies, "It's not about him anymore, Sky. It's about everyone else." Sky responds, "Okay, I'm listening to you. Tell me what it's about." She responds, "Literally read the timeline." Sky replies, "King showed me a bunch." She responds, "I don't know what you're trying to do." Sky replies, "But," to which she responds, "or achieve. I just know my story, and I know what Katie came to me with, and I know that Zero is lying. Even if he doesn't remember that, he should remember how we all shared a fucking 610 prison cell, and how he would turn to me, 'Jackie, look!' to show me literally explicit IRL photos of hookers on Craigslist, and I would turn away in disgust. I even told him to stop, and he would keep egging it and going even harder. I would even walk out a couple times. What am I, a 15-year-old girl with everything on the line running away from home? What am I supposed to do besides be nice and not stir the pot? I don't know what you want, but if you're gonna take these screenshots and just say some shit, whatever." Sky responds, to which she responds, "I hope you know we are all watching." Sky continues by saying, "Going to do, oh I know, I'm counting on it. The max exodus of this house is something that will set me free." She responds, "Sky," to which Sky responds, "Who the fuck laughing my ass off lies about that?" To which she responds, "Either make the statement or don't. I'm so done with everything. I've been getting horrible allegations left and right." Sky responds, "I'm making it. It's a mega statement about everything. I think this conversation has run its course. When I release my video, there will be nothing I'm leaving out or hiding. If you see something or think I'm being evasive, then please call me out directly. I don't care. This is my chance to wipe this away from my life and give real closure to all involved." She responds, "You need to let me go over this video before you post it, if you really mean it. I'm not going to downplay your point of view, but rather I just want to make sure, cause I don't know who to trust, that you got the point." Sky responds, "Okay, are you only interested in your part? I can send that to you. The text version." She responds, "No, everything." Sky then sends her the script for his video, and she responds, "I appreciate it. Please send me the video when you have it ready." She continues talking about Sky in the Google Doc by saying, "After collecting myself, I realized what was actually going on. After allegations of D1, Kataru, and Anti-surfaced, he knew he was next. He knew my story and everything related to it is his nail in the coffin. So he tried everything in his power to make me believe that he's on my side, despite never having told me any of these things years ago. What's more hurtful is that part of me wants to believe in him, because again, I truly never get to know him that well. But something for certain is that actions speak louder than words, and he never backs his actions. Since I realized that, several other roommates started coming forward to me with their stories. It's clear to me that Sky was realizing he's about to face reality, and thus he's doing his best to try and manipulate not just me, but everyone closely involved. to be on his side. He knows that if we all come forward, he's done. I don't think I should have to say this, but I want you to all recognize that this behavior is manipulative, gaslighting, and lying is disgusting and should not be forgiven. I haven't replied to any messages from Sky since. In almost every message he sent me, it was very clear that he's trying to get information. He is not on my side, and if he were, he would have come clean by now. He continues to try and steer me and everyone else into believing another story, and or soft threatening us through claims like, I'm gonna make a statement. I just hope that whatever he does say, he's thought through and understands that me and my former roommates are not here to serve him. And that is finally everything for that statement. It was pretty loaded. I only read the Sky part. If you want to read the rest, it will be in the description below. She follows up her tweet with the document by saying, I have literally not slept in 4 days. Sky Williams responds to her by saying, I'm not going to avoid this or deflect. I haven't read it yet, but of course I'm making my own mega statement, which is just a bunch of facts about the house. So I'll include this by responding to it no matter what it says. Ian then responds to him by saying, is this you? Showing a screenshot of her last statement about Sky. Sky responds with 3 dots. To which David Hernandez responds by saying, Sky Williams, the Epstein of the Smash community. Chew Balloon responds to Sky by saying, Sky, really? I actually trusted you, dude. Sky responds, I don't know what to say. This paragraph has nothing true in it. Of course I care about her. That is why I'm taking this long to address everything with time and respect. And I can't say anything else other than that. That's the truth. Now, speaking of this mega statement from Sky, he actually did attempt to give it out on a live stream. It lasted for about 2 hours and went over a lot of stuff, but I'm going to specifically cut out and show you the parts where he talks about the Jisu situation. Here is what he said.
The first house, the first Sky house ever, is Armacost. This house was the first and last time that I have ever lived with a minor in my home. I want to make that clear. That minor was Jackie, or Jisu as I'll refer to her as. I wrote a statement about her when people started coming forward with their stories. As soon as I knew that happened under my roof, I kind of assumed what people would think, so I immediately just began saying, all right, I'm gonna compile everything, and to compile everything, Jisu was a part of that, so I wrote it around then. Since then, she has made another twit longer, which I will address, but first I want to read my first statement that I had made. This is a statement that I wrote before Jisu's post on me. I'd like to read it and then respond directly to her twit longer. I would like to move along to a situation that I have yet to speak about in any public setting, and that is Jisu and Werner. This might be the most vile situation in the history of the Sky house. I was going to surround this video around the victims to give them the proper attention and voice they deserve, but this one will be different, because never in my life will I ever meet a human worse than Werner. I am not saying his first name because I know that Jisu hates hearing it, so I will address him by his last name, which is Werner. I will begin by speaking some truths. First and foremost, we as a collective failed Jisu. She holds 0% blame for literally anything. She was just a child, a talented as fuck, innocent, naive child. Her life was destroyed by that man, and I wasn't smart or mature enough to save her. That isn't me trying to garner sympathy, and of course I'm going to explain what I mean. Right away, I want to talk about why a minor was even in my home to begin with. This was because she was not disclosed as a minor when she had entered the house. Werner had simply expressed that people were coming along to work on his game with him, and she was listed as just a number, like 3 people moving in. With the hustle and bustle of the house every day, them arriving in the house and moving in was extremely easy to overlook. So many people that were even in the home, like no arrival was notable or special. Their room was on your immediate right when you entered the house, so they didn't have to go through anyone's area to get settled in. For them to get to their room, this is like obviously the driveway, the garage. All you would have to do is walk right in here and walk to your right, and that's where you would be. I only want to show this to you because the vantage point from my computer, which was here, it is literally impossible for me to even see that interaction. My back is like, I'm only trying to give you a scope of how chaotic the house was. It is not like it was disclosed to me like, hey, she's this age. Is that cool? Like, never. It was, they're gonna be working in my home, these 3 people, and I just said, yes, totally fine. I spent the least amount of time in their room or even that area of the house. I kind of just knew they were in there. Zero would troll her on occasion with something lewd that would send her out of the room and down the hallways from, his patented laugh while she kind of stormed off. I've only seen that in person once, but I am assuming that, was the returning troll whenever she would leave the room. I can't tell you how much it happened. Again, not my vantage area. I'm not looking or paying attention, but I know that I have been in there once and I have seen it once. When I walked in there periodically, she was already working, drawing, and learning some 3D program. I noticed that she looked young, but what captivated was how absolutely incredible her art was. My eyes were absolutely glued to her art. It was not in my peripheral to ask her age. It just wasn't. And if I'm speaking honestly, I felt similar to the outrage I've been hearing. Like in my head, I'm aware that she's young, but I'm thinking, well, there's just no fucking way that he just brought some child in my house to work with him. And obviously, I was dead wrong. It didn't take long for the house to discuss it. During downtimes, all of us would crowd around this small living room and just shoot the shit. Jackie comes walking by randomly and says to us, "Hey," and walks back. I don't remember who asked, but somebody directly asked, "Hey, Jackie, how old are you?" And 16? Like she was, nervous about saying it. If yikes had a face, we all had it. When she walked back, we heard the door close. There was a myriad of reactions. And as for me, I was blown away in my, that she was that young and that fucking good. Mind you, I had lived with Lauren and Melissa. And no offense to them, but Jackie, goddamn, Jisu went in. And I even wrote, she's literally the second coming of Christ. Her artwork was insane. But then I knew something wasn't right. I'll admit, this took me a few days only because I didn't visit the room enough to know the sleeping layout. But when I figured it out, that's when I started getting extremely concerned because she and Werner were sleeping on the bottom bunk of that bed together. I really hope that she doesn't mind that I'm using her name, but I want to highlight a key person in this situation by the name of Lauren Hasaga. Lauren and I immediately began speaking about this situation and ways that we can try to get information to ask what the deal with that was. With me, I'm very confrontational and direct when I'm trying to be sneaky. Meaning in this case, I would go visit Jackie in her room to see what she was doing. She'd be working on this 3D program, reading guides and trying to animate faces and bodies for a game they were working on. It wasn't her usual art, so I asked what she was doing. Werner answered and said that she was learning a 3D program because they needed it for the game that they were working on. I asked, why don't they just hire someone that already knows? And he answered again by saying, she's a genius and she could figure it out super fast, which Jackie happily agreed. But I didn't like that. I told Lauren what happened and expressed that Werner had answered for her and it felt controlling. There were a few more interactions like this that varied in responses. When Jisu was alone, I asked if she ever thought about making art for her own brand because I think she'd be fucking insane and she would pop the fuck off. That excited her. And she was interested in talking about it more. But this is where the abuse took full form. Because when she expressed this to Werner, it wasn't met with the same enthusiasm. Jackie eventually walked out to me and told me that she can't focus on anything that's not the game right now and she's sorry. I tried again another day and I brought Lauren when we luckily found her alone again. This time, however, while she was excited, again, the next I saw her, she told me to mind my own business and stop trying to trick her into not working on that game. This had happened several times, and I wasn't sure what to do. And that's when it clicked. That's abusive. He's abusive. He's abusing her. The only component I didn't even remotely research was their sexual activity, if there even was one. But before I could confront Werner about this, he sent me a message with a request. Werner had sent me a message, and I'm going to show this to you, that said, Jackie needs proof of residency to enroll in school here. She just needs you and her parents to sign a paper that says she's living here for the school year, as well as a document with your name on it as proof of residency. This was the first normal and positive thing that I had gotten from them. I was extremely uneasy about the two of them, but excited for the fact that she's going to school. Whoever has parents that will just lease their daughter out to some old-ass white dude, home life might have been terrible for her. Now that she's here living basically free, I'm now signing a document that enables her to go to school here, or so I thought. I signed the paper because I felt like it was my way of showing her that I support her path, but I wasn't going to let that get rid of my suspicions. So right after, I directly asked Werner if the two of them were sexually active. And I have the response here, but I'm going to show you the picture first because I'm sick of not showing it. So this is Werner messaging me in 2014. You can see the date. It says, yo, Jackie needs proof of residency to enroll in school here. She just needs you and her parents to sign a paper saying that she's living here for the school year, as well as a document with your name on it as proof of residency. So either a rental agreement or a utility bill. I said, okay, fine. He said, thanks. I'll send you the paper. Residency letter doc X. I will show that to you in a moment, but I said, okay, before I do this, I need you to be honest with me for real. Like, no judgments, but are you two sexually intimate at all? And he says, LOL, no, is his response. LOL, no. I'm embarrassed, by the way, about this. My one of my friends I showed this to said that I'm stupid for being tricked by it, and he's absolutely right. But this is what I was given. I obviously blanked out her parents' names, but I gave her name and mine, my address, and the years, and this is what I had. And yes, I know many of you are probably laughing and saying how stupid I am for being fooled by this, but I thought it was real, and I thought it would be as simple as this. Everyone signing a paper, she's gonna go to school. This is what was given to me. After that was signed, that was the end of my access to Jackie and V for a bit. Things were a bit more closed off. Their door was closed, they put up curtains, and it was much harder to get in their room to just chat. At the time, I felt completely conflicted and stuck. I didn't know what action to take, and oftentimes there didn't seem like there was one to take. Where they came from, things were consensual, so even though I was convinced she was being abused, I wasn't smart enough or strong enough to take definitive action, especially because we didn't have proof of their sexual activity yet. Until finally one morning. I don't remember why the change happened, but I do know that D1 was sleeping on the top bunk adjacent to V and Jackie. Now I want to make something clear. During the time where they had made their room more private and accessible, something they did was put a blanket between, like with a wooden staff. One morning he was woken up suddenly because the wooden pole was moving enough for it to shake and poke him a little. I'm going to now show you what he told me when he found out before he told me directly, because this was jarring, and this was everything I needed to take action. He says, sex is such a great alarm. If you ever need to wake up, count on morning sex sounds and see the sweet sound of a condom wrapper slowly opening the sweet or whatever. That's what he was trying to say. Now, this makes D1 look like a creep or a jerk, but no. D1 was livid. This is how D1 typed when he was mad. It was 8:38 a.m. That shit woke him up. And he did not like to be, he was more grumpy old man than me when it came to waking up. And he was pissed, got out of his bed, immediately grabbed me from what I was doing, took me in my room and a few others and told me. But I didn't get the chance to do much. I don't know if it's because V felt the hot seat or if they had planned on doing this all along. But one day they left the house. They left most of their things and they were just gone. I believe they were going to Ohio, but I don't really remember. They had left and they didn't pay. No one heard anything, and I called it a betrayal. I was pissed. This was V telling me that they're just gone. At first, they were going to Ohio. They were just going, and then it turned from a trip to them being there for a very long time. I'm trying to tell him here that, like, if you're leaving and you have another place to live, bro, like, I'm not mad at you for that. So just tell me, because, like, it felt like they were just thinking, like, I would just be upset, which I don't know why that would be relevant. This is her telling me that they might be gone, and she hopes it doesn't ruin things between us. I really love that you decided to stay back and ask me what's wrong, even when I didn't say anything, which was a typical thing when I went in there to go talk. She wouldn't talk when V was there. Fuck, I'm sorry. But I would love to work with you in the future. So while I have my own choice outside those usually around me, cough, I want to work with you and strive to improve my branding as an artist. And even if you think I'm a weirdo or I'm not actually your friend, I think you were more a friend to me than most in crucial situations. And I had written this in a way that I wasn't going to cry. And I made a point because I didn't want it to be performative. But then she posted that another twit longer and I couldn't, it was over. She talks a lot about me being very manipulative and only messaging her for information. To be honest with you, I couldn't open it and read it a lot because I have a lot of receipts and such that kind of go against what her opinion of me is. All I can say is that I think that she is right in a lot of what she's saying. Because ultimately, I was the adult in that situation that was technically in charge. And I failed her by not helping her. And I think that I was spreading my attention too thin. Something she said got me hard. It destroyed me. And that was questions that she asked in her twitlonger. She says, why didn't he tell me this when my truth came out? Why didn't he just come forward if he cared so much? Why does he keep claiming to care so much about me but then confuse me like this? And I mean, it's because we failed you and we didn't get him. And he's gone and he did all that damage and we failed you. We all collectively fucked you. We literally fucked you over so hard and you didn't deserve it. And from the get-go, like, I was trying to make steps because I didn't know what to do. I really did not know how to handle it. I didn't know how to help you. I got proof of everything too late and then you were gone. I'm going to share a story with you that only I know and she knows. So the story was that one day Jackie comes out of her room and she comes up to me and just says, hey, I want you to know that I don't only want to work on the game. I want to do more. I want to like make my own brand. And when you come and talk to me, I know that I don't respond, but I want to do it and I want help. And she asked me and I said, okay, I will help. I didn't understand why Jackie said I didn't care about her and acted like when I talked to her, it was only for information. Because I have been talking to her almost every other month since. And I have like 40 screenshots of conversations that we have where, here's one. I'm not mad at her at all I'm not mad at her at all because she's hurt and she deserves to be. And I was the one that was in charge and I didn't help her. I didn't establish a close enough connection with her because I spread myself too thin. I didn't see her as a true, like, I wasn't like really friends with anyone. It was so hard to get to me personally and I could have done that and I could have helped her before. And I think that what she is saying is out of pain and I get it. And that's why I'm not mad at her. And please, no one else should be either, because everything that she said was valid and all of her pain makes sense. But I'm here to tell her that it wasn't her fault. It was us and we failed you. I was just telling her, because she's sometimes depressed, and I was telling her that, like, we all knew how good you were, and, you know, you got smarter. He was manipulating the shit out of you, and no matter how much we tried, you were hooked. And she says, yeah, I know. Because she's changing her life. She decided that she wasn't going to be a victim no more. She literally went out and then made her own shit. She didn't give a fuck. She's like, this nigga's really not going to control a single damn thing. And she says, like, you know, for the first time, I got control of my life. And, like, I'm telling her, like, you're still so fucking young. Like, you can really make all this work for you. She asked me one day why I care so much about her. I said, the same reason I care about Melissa. It's just that, like I told you in the beginning of all this, that in my home, if you're doing something tight, if you're going in, if you're putting in work, I love that shit. And Melissa never will stop her grind. Never. Never, 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 never. And I cared so much about her because she endured all of that shit, broke away from it, and then created her own life for herself, and she kept going. That's so fucking tight. She's happy, and I'm just like not happy, and I'm joking around, and I'm like, I'm about to come in here and ruin your mood. She said, let me be happy, fuck you. And I'm jealous because of what she's doing. And, you know, that's when she admitted that she's not depressed. That was that other screenshot. So there was a time where she was worried about not being able to do things because she had no money. So I told her that I'm not going to let him do this. And I even admitted here, there are so many things that I did that fucked me up. And everybody, it's coming out. I'm not guilty of no Epstein shit, bro. I've just done so many, I've hurt so many people. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I'm not no fucking monster like that. And we're going to go over everything, and I've made the steps. But this is me telling her, like, I'm in so deep and I may never get a chance to actually redeem myself, but she survived, and now at the very least, I can help her. Jackie, you know I cared about you. You know I cared about you. You know that I kept trying to get you, that I kept trying to message you, even though you would say I was trying to get something from you. And I knew why you felt the way you did, but I kept trying. I could go on. I could have this whole stream about conversations. We can look at all these pictures. But you know, I should have helped you and I should have saved you. And that's going to be a running theme of the night. And I didn't. So I tried everything I could because you don't take handouts. I have a picture of that. You don't take handouts. You were trying to say you didn't want to live in my house for free or handouts. And here's what gets me. This one gets me because this is contradictory to what I thought about you. See, in your tweet longer, you were talking about being a runaway, and that could have been true. I'll never know, right? But here, in this, you say that you miss everybody. You know it's not the same bunch. But here you're saying like you're living in your parents' basements and your parents are helping you pay for the whole cost. So I'm thinking like, oh shit, maybe that was another lie that V perpetuated. Maybe it wasn't that bad. I didn't know. You opened up to me and you talked about you were struggling, you were worried and scared every day. How could I not do this? I'll do a few more and we'll just move on, but just know that I have so many of these. Like, oh, this one, she's talking about having so much anxiety that she can't get out of bed, bro. Like, this is a product of a house that she lived in and I was the one that was the leaseholder of. Fucking course I'm going to try to help you. You posted those pictures of us talking and me talking to you, but the only reason I switched to Twitter, and for context, she posted a bunch of things that I was saying, and then she was like, because I didn't respond and he needed to manipulate me, he went on Twitter. That's not true. The messages weren't delivering at all. They didn't even have the little circle filled in. I thought my internet was dead. And we had just talked about how Zero's gonna get away with lying about you, and you were asking me if I cared about you to make a statement, and I said I am. I have a statement. I'm going to come out and I'm going to heal you. I'm going to point out the nigga that's responsible for this shit. I told you this and you said I believe it when I see it, and I took too long, and I'm sorry, but I had to make sure. But it became too much. When you released your statement, it became too much. This one, Jisu telling me that the biggest reason why she didn't like me like that is because of V. She asked me why I became caring. Well, no, this is what I said. I was saying you called the shots, make sure you're comfortable. Basically, this was a message in where I said that you can live at any of my houses for free. You could do whatever you want at all. You could do anything you want. No pressure, nothing on you. And she says, okay, I have a question then. Why me? I said, that's easy. I have had a man strip me of everything since that night I was 15 when I was raped. Not a single day have I felt safe. And I look in the mirror and I'm repulsed. And I'm thinking the only way that I can find a meaningful relationship is when I'm forced into it. I gained all my weight back to make me repulsive so that not even a rapist would want me. That destroyed my life. Greg, my old name, that person died that day. I changed my name to Sky because that was all that's left. I believe in you so much, and I always have. I'm going to be one of the most flawed individuals you'll ever meet, and I'm genuinely not a good person, but I will not let you. I won't. I definitely cared about you. I tried what I could have done, but I didn't save you. I didn't help you. And your pain is on me. And that's why I don't mind if you have all these things to say, if you make these statements, because you were put through hell. And again, for the final time, I failed you, and Jisu, I am forever going to be sorry, and I will never be able to make up for that.
So that's about it for Sky's statement on Jisu. The stream talked about a bunch of other things and lasted about 2 hours. I have a full version of it linked in the description below if you want to check that out. But going back to Twitter, Jisu has a couple more things to say about Sky and his stream. She starts out by responding to someone who deleted his tweet and says, "No, I actually didn't. My abuser had to pay rent for the both of us. He threatened to kick us out multiple times when he couldn't pay. so I had to start selling my artwork at random SoCal tournaments to make ends meet. I'm replying to this because people seem to have some idea that the house was glamorous and that Sky held it out for me/people. No, he's truly only self-interested, and people need to know that. Sky, why would you ever in God's name say his name when I literally told you to never say it again? I'm done with this. Can someone seriously contact him to remove any mention? I don't want to sub to him. Can someone just make him stop? Christian Brown responds, wait, did you want him to stop saying his last name too? We'll let him know. Jisu responds, I don't want any mention. Pulling up a fucking map with his name there too, next to mine in front of thousands of people is so beyond fucked up. I don't want to contact him for obvious reasons. Thanks. Detective Blackman responds to her by saying, he did this out of spite, to which she responds, I know. It all is. She then says, in the coming days, other key community members and I will be doing a live stream going over everything, analyzing what to take away from all of this. This isn't the end. It hurts. But we as a community can take the lead and set the example for others to follow. And that's about it between Sky and Jisu specifically. But the Jisu situation is just one of many things that Sky is currently under attack for. As he's been an owner of massive houses with tons of people in it for the better part of a decade, there's a lot more situations than just this one coming out in regards to him. So if you don't want to miss all of that, be sure to subscribe with notifications on. And also follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with any new developments that happen in real time. Thank you so much to my channel members for supporting the channel, in particular Josh Pescator, Estemic, Mr. Personality, and the Dank Memes Play for all donating $30 a month. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in another video.